Alright, let's talk a little bit about wasps, bees, and those kinds of animals. We all know that they're really important for us. Without those, we couldn't exist, especially bees. You know, they're stinging, but without those, we wouldn't have any plants or whatsoever, nothing to eat. But I want to focus on one thing. Consider the following statements. Bees defending their colony are attracted to carbon dioxide as the facial area is a sensitive place to sting. Heavy breathing around bees is therefore a bad idea. Second, these actions, along with carbon dioxide in exhaled breath, could stimulate the guard bees to sting. From the book Letters of the Hive, An Intimate History of Bees, Honey and Humankind by Stephen L. Buchman, holding your breath keeps bees from stinging your mouth and nose, since exhaled carbon dioxide is one of the cues that stimulates their stinging response. Now, the most interesting one? Here is more education for you. Your exhaled breath contains carbon dioxide, which can be used as an anesthesia for bees, and since they don't like it, they become aggressive. This is why a bee constantly flits around your face, because it's aggressively aroused. Remember that next time when you think about moving bees with blowing your breath on them. Okay, I wanted to show you some other thing. Let's go there. Wait a second. Okay, that's Vsauce, or however you spell it. This kind of adult guy explaining stuff, and I just wanted you to listen to what he has to say about what is the scariest thing. Just have a listen.
Scientists have known for decades that a lack of oxygen will make you feel dizzy and maybe even euphoric before you pass out. But elevated levels of carbon dioxide in the blood induce fear, anxiety, and panic. Patient SM volunteered to inhale concentrated CO2. Her brain interpreted the elevated levels of CO2 in her blood as proof that she was suffocating, a process we are innately averse to. As usual, the researchers expected SM to feel no fear, but for the first time in her adult life, she felt sheer and utter panic.
The great thing about that study on SM is really it was the first time that we...
Okay. You heard that? Now let's go to the end of the video. You really have to watch the whole video. It's really interesting. Probably somewhere here.
Blood CO2 levels and present an external threat they'll believe is causing it. Drowning, waterboarding, coerced CO2 inhalation. They're all variations of the one true scariest thing. Elevation of carbon dioxide in the blood caused by an uncontrollable external threat.
Yeah. This whole video is about what is the scariest thing. Like man-made stuff, what people are scared about, and all these kind of things. Face mask. This is what Google shows me when I just wrote face mask. Oh, those kinds. You know? What was the most scariest thing? A too high level of CO2. It makes people anxious. It makes people so anxious that it goes straight to your brain stem. It is so deeply rooted in your physical system that if the air, what you breathe, is too high with carbon dioxide, you get anxious, you get sick, and all these kind of things. So that's the International Monetary Fund website, World Economic Outlook, Global Financial Stability Report, Equitable Vaccine Rollout, the IMF and COVID-19. Today we heard that Elon Musk bought some bitcoins or whatever, and the whole world went nuts about it. So we are in the middle of quite a ride. We have a total reset of the financial system, a total reset of the social system, and there is probably some natural reset coming as well. Speaking of solar cycles, planetary alignments, which all affect our climate. Jet streams are changing, which means other areas are, some areas are affected by really heavy rains, some by droughts, some by wind. Never experienced colds, never experienced heat, never experienced rain or snowfalls or whatever. If you watch the news, you see everywhere around the world things are changing. And people are talking about the time after COVID-19, when everything is like back on the old, like it has been before. I tell you one thing, there is no time after COVID, because it will start from zero again. So it will not be a time after COVID-19, because after that we'll start a new time. Like a new time. If they were able to put the clock back to zero more than 2,000 years ago, why shouldn't we be able to do the same? And probably it has to be done anyways, because if you watch to the sky and beyond, there are a few solar cycles which are pointing at the same point now, which means they're all happening basically at the same time. Solar cycle 25 started last year. So it will ramp up still 6 years and then go down 6 years. If it's a usual solar cycle. If it would go as some predict, it will be a really, how to say, calm solar cycle. There shouldn't be many sunspots, there shouldn't be many CMEs, there shouldn't be nothing that really big going on, which somehow could lead Earth in a little mini ice age again, like we happen to see in the 1600s. So this is it's quite possible. But if you take a step back and watch at the bigger cycles of the sun, for example, then you probably will notice, like I showed you, no, let's see if I have it somewhere here still. Longite cycles. What I'm trying to say, because I'm not good in details, that's why I have to watch stuff up every now and then. So we are about to enter at least a mini ice age. But there's also a quite big, I think it's bigger than just a possibility, quite obvious. Here, this graph. We are here, and as you see, here was the last time when it peaked. If you go closer, $2,000. So I guess it just went up more. Okay, 20 years. So if you go back 1,000, let's zoom a little bit. Yeah, possibility for that too. But remember, we are here. That's the year 0. This year, if you remember, watching that one, was here. Oh, sorry. Here. We went where we are now, here in the beginning of the age of Aquarius. Just to remember. And now on our other side, there's the lion, the Sphinx. But anyway, let's go back to this, where I have been. Longite, here. Okay. We are here. Jesus got born, representing fish. You know, let's zoom out. Let's go all the way here. $10,000 BC, which makes 12,000 years. Like I said, there's not that much of prehistoric high culture left, which is older than 12,000 years. So, I'm just trying to say 2,000 years ago, they had to somehow figure out how to scare people to follow the leaders, to where the leaders wanted to go. How to scare people. There was no internet, nothing like such things. So, if you don't behave as we want to, you will burn in hell forever. And if you don't do as we say, we will burn you alive. If you expose the truth, you will burn alive. Now is the year 2021. And I really have to say that it's genius. It's really fucking geniusly made. They make us wearing masks, which a side effect of this mask is fear, because it's so deeply rooted in us. It's in the brain stem. It's not even in our brain, like, it's not conscious. It's too far away from consciousness. You can't control it in any way. You cannot control it anymore, or more than magnetics. Thinking about 5G, how electromagnetics work. We are here. So let's make it a little bit bigger. We are here. That's where the satellites are flying. This is our bow shock. Sun is there. If you watch at this color here, purple, and this chart here, there's not really purple here, but 0. So I see this as minus. Negatively charged, or how do you put it? If our thoughts are just electromagnetic impulses interpreted by our brains, we have positive thoughts, we have negative thoughts. We are about to experience really drastic magnetic changes everywhere you look. Birds, whales, dolphins, probably bats, many other animals. They are really dependent on any kind of magnetics, because otherwise they don't know where they are. They don't know where to go. They starve. So the Earth's magnetosphere is weakening. The poles are shifting in an increasing pace. So things are really cranking up for real on so many different kind of levels. And I really wonder, are there so much cranking up that they have to put those glitches in this magnetosphere model? "4 minutes difference. And then stuff is going on and we can watch it for a while. And then bam, went away. And then everything is just calm again. Nothing going on. A little bit of energy bumping around, coming really close. That's really close. That's probably closer than it should be, I would say. And then it's again stuff going on. I haven't watched that before. I bet there's some glitch soon again. Yeah. Glitch. 4 hours. Bam. And I see that if you watch at this part of the picture here, I say that there's like energy coming in, induction energy into Earth's mantle, penetrating probably deeply into the core of Earth. But they want to show us more. Why? Would there be something to see? Even on this model? Again, sorry. Yeah, I was showing you this model because I wanted to show you another thing about magnetics. Why is blood red? Go. Human blood is red because hemoglobin, which is carried in the blood and functions to transport oxygen, is iron rich and red in color. As far as I know, iron reacts to magnets. So, if you think about that, there's basically some metal juice flowing through your brain constantly. Without this metal juice called blood, you cannot be alive. Taking this, we are filled with metal. Our brain functions with metal juice, metal or iron. Iron and magnets, they react to each other. So, what's the influence on human psyche, behavior, just from the standpoint of changing the magnetics in the bigger scale? And I mean, changing, it's not on purpose because it's nature, it's just happening. Schumann resonance. That's our frequency. 7.8 Hertz. There's a big spike, really big spike. Coronal hole stream hit Earth. There are spikes in the higher regions too. We have to raise our frequency as a species. If you are at low frequency, you go like that. There's nothing going on. Really low. If you're at a high frequency, you go like that. Which basically means that's the truth. That's the truth. That's, if you want to put it like that, the truth with a minus polarity. That's the truth with the plus polarity. This one. So, if the purpose of being is just hitting the truth. Then you probably should really raise your frequency, and you will hit the truth more often, because the truth doesn't care about your opinion. Like nature doesn't care about us as humans, as species. We are just here in this tiny, in the middle. This is the border which protects us, the heliosphere, from cosmic rays. Sun is weakening, so there's more stuff coming into Earth. A new sun cycle started 25, which somehow showed already its power. There has been big CMEs. Gladly they didn't hit Earth, otherwise we wouldn't talk, or I wouldn't talk, or you wouldn't hear me, because there would be no internet, no electricity. It would be silent and dark. Many of you have no idea how it feels if there is no electricity, or if you don't have a phone. Partially, I know how it feels. So, I'm really excited to see how people will react if they all of a sudden noticed that probably there's something else that what they thought us in the news about what's going on. There's our food. Where is our sun? Where is our God?